What's up, boys? In a short week, I actually managed to make over $50,000 this week, and one of the best trades I'm going to show you guys I actually made while I was sleeping, over $25,000 in profit. Absolutely insane. I'm going to get into every single trade that I took, give you guys the best input I can. Some wins and some losses and some crazy, like actually astonishing mistakes. I just got funded on Alpha Futures and they have a huge sale going on, 30% off till the 6th of July. Use my code Steph, putting it up on the screen. I'm already up around $11,000 on the account that I got. They're not going to like this payout that I'm going to get. Please like, subscribe. Obviously, I hope you have a good week and happy 4th of July, by the way. Start drinking right now. So boom, this is the big trade. This is the trade that made me 25K last night. Again, I'm going to put on the screen the profit, and also I'm going to show you guys the order. Boom, there's the order right there. Big breakdown with this, and this is exactly where I exited as well. I woke up around 8 this morning and I checked my phone and I was like, oh, pretty simple breakdown here once you do understand my conviction. I was looking for a short play. I entered this trade at the close on this 15-minute candle around like 1 in the morning. I put my stop loss at this high. There's a couple reasons why. Of course, this was our high of session. You guys see the reaction we had off of the low, which is obviously a good sign for sells. There's big sells in that area. In an area where I expect to see sells and I see kind of bullish price action, but there's nothing really going on there. There's nothing too strong. It shows there's an opportunity for sells to take control. And that's the big kind of key word of this week that I want you to walk away with is opportunity, positioning, putting yourself in a position to succeed. I'm working with the Pathway to Profits mentorship right now. I'm working in a very tight group of people that are trying to see success within trading. That's the big thing I've been knocking into their brain of recent is just positioning. And they're seeing exactly why. And I'm living proof and I'm continuing to show that to them is boom. Today, I did risk a lot of money in this trade. I was actually up around $6,000 on the day at this time. I saw this opportunity. I saw this trade. And this is something I normally do. Going to bed before I take a trade is something that I really honestly want to do more often. If I set my stop and I go to bed, I can wake up to huge profits. If I get stopped out, I just get stopped out on the trade that I initially liked. And obviously there's no scenario where I see a $24,000 P&L and I let it get that far. If I saw 10K, 5K on the line, I'm taking that out. As long as you don't do this as your main strat, like all day you just jump in a trade and just set and forget. Understand, hey, I'm about to go from being up 6,000 to probably being down around 2. And you see price climb up, you see it start to reject and mess around, and we actually just do exactly what I said, reject off of this high. One thing I noticed when you do these night trades, you have to give yourself a lot of room. You have to make sure you give it a lot of room to just flow up and down, move like I said before, because I was only going to have a stop loss at this high, but I realized I'm like, okay, this is the high. If we break above that, that's a really big sign for shorts. So giving the chart, knowing this is going to be multiple hours of just unlimited price action moves with I have no control, you got to give it room, and that's exactly what I did. And I very close to being stopped out, and I'm very happy I didn't. This is something I've told traders to do, is actually set your stop loss up and walk away. You have to just be able to let your emotions to the side. People can't just stare at the chart and watch, and I don't know if I could have seen how well this almost stopped me out. Again, I don't think anybody's going to come at me for it. I got lucky. I'm blessed. I made 24K off this. That was a big, pretty much half of my profits this week. Also made $11,000 on my Alpha Futures funded account, which again, boom right there. Story time with this is I actually had 3 accounts that I did use my code for. Code STEP, 30% off Alpha Futures accounts. I had a 100K, another 100K, and a 50K. I passed one of the 100K accounts and the 50K, but I lost one of the other 100K accounts. So right now I just have an advanced 100K and a 50K account. Day 1 on those 2 accounts that I passed, I made around 8,000 on the 100K and I actually got my max loss limit hit on the 50K. Day 2, made that money back. I'm a little bit above break even now on the 50K, and then I made around 3,000 on the 100K account. Just by doing the same thing, trading gold, nothing crazy. Looking at this trade on the short time frame is insane. Look at that. Oh my gosh. These 2 trades I actually took on stream, which I do go live on Twitch a lot at night. So if you want to go follow me on Twitch, link below. This one, little bit of an exaggeration of my entry. Could have waited a little bit, not gonna lie, but we got lucky. Saw this bearish consolidation. Once again, kind of the same thing I was looking at that trade overnight. We have this textbook consolidation to the downside. We're seeing that chop. We're making higher lows inside this consolidation. Once I saw this 2-minute candle close right here, I jumped in, and yes, that is a little bit dangerous because we haven't broke below this low yet, but I have my stop loss at this high. Not a horrible idea for a trade. Got really lucky with this really nice break. This next trade though was the banger. I took that first trade on my live account, then I switched to my eval and I took trades on stream with that. This was the trade we took. We noticed trend is bearish. We just caught a bearish setup. At this point, we start to kind of get a little bit choppy, kind of start to consolidate. All we were looking for was for an entry. That's it. Was just watching price move. You can see we're sticking under this EMA. We're seeing price action kind of just chop. Boom. This was the candle we get our entry off of. You see how nice this hammer candle close was. We actually had this nice little pop up, rejected the low, came back down, bought all the way up, came all the way back down, closed even lower than the open of the candle, right underneath the EMA, jumped in longs right there. Stop loss I didn't put at this high because I wanted this to have a little bit more room than a point, and we actually wouldn't have got stopped out. It would have been really close, but again, I don't really like to risk a point on gold. It's just a little bit too tiny. So we had our stop loss at this high right here, and we never really had a doubt about it. Ran a 1-to-1 off of this and literally bottom ticked gold. So, and those two, again, on stream, I'm low-key of a sniper. Played out pretty perfect. This was a trade we lost on stream. We actually saw a break underneath this zone that I had marked out. We came down, retraced, rejected. We got in at this exit of the zone. Really perfect setup. Like, I loved every bit about this. Just came all the way almost down to where we were looking for TP. This was one of those trades where I was just playing with the trend. I didn't really have a TP set, and I kind of got bit for it. You're looking at a trade that I took. Fuck! So this trade actually was in one of the morning calls in my Discord, and I was looking at gold. You guys know I only trade gold, and I saw price action was kind of crappy. I looked at NQ and saw it was moving amazing, and I was like, okay, you know what, this time maybe I'll come back and I'll actually trade NQ for once. And it was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. This is the equivalent of going back to your ex-girlfriend after you said you weren't going to, and I paid for it. Scene we've been longing all day. Price action was amazing. We just saw a really nice rejection off the 4-hour, and price was again just continuing up. We're seeing retracement to this EMA, retracement to this EMA, continuation up, and I went ahead and played along with it. Bought up, rejected, came back down, bought up off the EMA. I got in right there, stop loss at the bottom of this wick, and holy, I swear to you, we never saw it again. We still have to this point never seen it again. We've now popped up, I think, over 400 points since that. It's actually ridiculous. And that really does kind of sum up my trading week. I think initially on Monday, we took a nice 5.5 point dub, which I learned in Discord. I just deleted the trade because I'm an idiot. You guys want my outlook on gold? Honestly, looking at the 4-hour right now, I do have a pretty bearish bias. We just rejected off that high. We were coming off a pretty hot run we had, which we did find a bottom initially. When you start to see a big drop like this and we see the sideways consolidation, I took a couple trades like this. I do lean to the bearish side with this. You kind of have to look at the initial trend first to get the side you want to play, but when you do see consolidation like this, it does tend to be pretty 50-50. Obviously, tomorrow's July 4th. The market is technically closed. Futures markets are open. I'm not going to trade, but since we're going into the week, there's just going to be a big dump in one direction. But since we're going into pretty much the next week, it's just going to be pretty much whatever happens over the weekend. News bias gets set up, sentiment gets set up, and then we're just kind of going to have to play with it. That's really it, though. Super hyped with this week. Super happy with the outcomes. Again, join the Discord if you want more alerts and more trades and more information from me. Follow this Twitch. Use code Steph, 30% on checkout on Alpha Futures. And I got a banger video coming for you guys, so stay tuned.